Timer started. Hello, class.
Hello.
Today I just want to briefly talk about understanding stress management with you all. Stress management is something that affects every last one of us, especially with us being involved in a school setting. We deal with students, we deal with their parents, we deal with teachers, we even have to deal with ourselves and our families, being in where we are. So I want to step in and ask you all, what's your analysis of stress management? Think about stress and how stress affects us, and then think about stress management and how it can help us. I'm gonna give you about a minute to brainstorm, and then we're going to talk about it. Okay, now that we've brainstormed a little bit about it, can someone start off by telling me their analysis of stress management?
Well, my thoughts, I think stress is a mental state of being, and deal with it with certain techniques and activities.
Techniques and activities. Okay. Next. Ms. Green?
To reflect and just take a minute, take some deep breaths, maybe some breathing technique.
Techniques, that's good too. Okay. Ms. Bell?
It's something that sneaks up on us sometimes, and so sometimes you just have to find a way to just maybe like doing an exercise like yoga that will relax your mind and take you away from it.
Yes, yoga. Something that you say take your mind away from things.
Yeah.
Okay, Ms. White?
Something that allows you to listen to yourself and just sit and think. Kind of like meditation.
Sit and think, and you said like meditation? Good. All right, last but not least.
Okay, I think that it's any of those activities that serve as a proactive approach before you become reactive. Because we have those stressors, and so whatever it is that you need to do to manage those, whether it be breathing or meditation, whatever works for you, I think we need to find that for and just kind of decrease some of those stresses on us.
I like what you said, being proactive before reactive. All of y'all had some great answers. Could y'all kiss y'all brain? Cause y'all was smart. So with us understanding some stress management purposes, let's look at what stress is. So stress is any circumstance that may threaten or have the potential of threatening our well-being. And stress affects the way that we cope with things. So that's when our body kicks into that fight or flight mode. And fight or flight is basically you're either gonna deal with it and work it out, or you're gonna try to avoid it. And that's what our minds tend to do. So being that it focuses on our mind, our cognitive processes are affected. It impacts the way we feel when we are stressed. And even think about like people that endure like a lot of stress. Sometimes it clouds our judgment. Sometimes our thoughts get distorted and the way we see things aren't how they really are because we're stuck in that second. And there was a study done by APA that stated that 44% of Americans reported that their stress levels went from moderate to high within a 5-year period. So that lets us know right there, stress affects us all. So I have a short little video I want you all to look at. I want you to just pay close attention. You might even see yourself in this video. Here it goes.
So, how was the first day of school? It was fine, I guess. I don't know. Do you ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head? Did you guys pick up on that? Sure did. Something's wrong. We're gonna find out what's happening, but we'll need support. Signal the husband.
Uh-oh, she's looking at us. What did she say?
What? Oh, sorry, sir. No one was listening.
It's a garbage night. We left the toilet seat up. What? What is it, woman? What?
Signal him again.
Ah, so, Riley, how was school?
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. For this, we gave up that Brazilian helicopter pilot? School was great, alright? What was that? I thought you said we were gonna act casual. Riley, is everything okay?
Sir, she just rolled her eyes at us.
All right, make a show of force. I don't want to have to put the foot down.
No, not the foot.
Riley, I do not like this new attitude. Oh, I'll show you attitude.
No, breathe.
What is your problem? Just leave me alone.
Sir, reporting high levels of sass.
Take it to DEFCON 2.
DEFCON 2.
I don't know where this disrespectful attitude came from. You want a piece of this, Pop?
Yeah? Well, look.
Prepare the foot.
Keys to safety position. Ready to launch on your command, sir.
Just shut up!
Fire! That's it. Go to your room.
The foot is down. The foot is down.
So looking
This
at
still
the,
is really boring from
looking
watching
at
our
that
kids grow
video.
up, which is not easy. Anyone?
how many of y'all can relate to being stressed out, being overwhelmed, and reacting in such a manner? How many of y'all can relate to Riley? Everybody should be raising your hands. Thumbs up. We all should have them all the way to the sky because we all endure stress at some point in our life. And we react in different modes. Riley, in particular, how did she react?
Kinda got already.
Yeah. Yeah. So with that being said, I want you all to use your shoulder partner. Look at your left. Whoever on your left is your shoulder partner. Well, Miss Green, you'll use Doc. And I'll be your partner. And I want you all to think about what happened in the video and how Riley could have reacted differently. What could she have done in that moment so that she didn't explode like she did on her parents? So I'm gonna give y'all about 2 minutes to talk and discuss, and then we'll come back to the table.
What Riley should have done?
Yeah, how you? If you were Riley, how would you have reacted?
Parents on their reacting. You know, come on. So this is what happened. Accent, yeah, we recognize something's wrong. Taking a break away from them
Yeah.
to control it and get out of
Yeah.
That's what she missed.
Yeah.
We all know having y'all.
I know my.
Mhm.
What's all of it?
This what happened, you need to do something. Do something.
You're not good examples, teaching them like everything.
We are the
Yeah.
examples.
It's balanced, though, you know, everybody
If you
got their way of dealing with it as well.
Okay. Sound like we heard some good, going on. So, I wanna start with my middle group. What did y'all come up with?
A few things. We said that she could have told them that she didn't wanna talk about it then. Could have used more words, still say that it was fine and not just gone from 2 to 10. She said that she could have just expressed that it wasn't a good day. She might have just been a tad bit emotional, but just said like she didn't wanna talk about it at that time.
Good job. Everybody give them a high race group, pump it up. All right, my next group.
I just used that she could have just told them what the problem was, and then say, y'all need to do something. Be real. Y'all are parents, here it is, I'm laying it all out. Emotional as it may be, but at least she releasing the stress and getting it off.
Y'all agree?
I think she could have journaled.
She could have journaled? Yeah. All right. My partner?
Okay, I think y'all said both things, I believe the same thing, there was a way she should have acted, but I think my look at it was, did she know to act that way? We can say, yeah, that's great, but how did the dad react? So she and the dad kinda got into a power struggle, so that makes me say that, man, in that household, that's the way we communicate, you know? So but I do agree that she should have like taken a deep breath and said, hey, you know, can we walk away from the situation? But just based on that clip, it looked as though she doesn't know those skills yet.
I definitely agree with everyone. Y'all on the right stuff. So, in order to deal with stress or cope with stress, we have to recognize some of the ways we can cope with it. So, I have two of the most common counseling techniques there is that can be used, not for, you know, me teaching or dealing with clients. Y'all can also use them with working with adults or working with your own kids or your own family or whatever. One is cognitive behavior therapy. Now, cognitive behavior therapy is a short-term type of technique that can be used, and in that, you know, you basically looking at the way you thought about things and reacted. As we know, our thoughts influences our feelings, and our feelings influences our reactions to things. So that brought me to the mindset of being at work. There's something I always hear, it's called be a pro. Can you elaborate on what being a pro is?
Sure, the pro means to pause, redirect, and observe. So instead of being reactive, we are being proactive, like we talked about before. You know, so when something happens, don't just react, just pause first, and then kind of redirect what's going on and observe what happens from there before you just, you know, go to 10.
Okay, 0 to 10 is we usually. All right, so great, you pointed that out. And then our second technique is called mindfulness. Now, mindfulness is like, as one of y'all pointed out, thinking meditation. Meditation is one of those components in mindfulness. In meditation, we can do what, Ms. Bell? How do you meditate?
How do I meditate? I actually pretty much sit there and get in a quiet spot and sit there and just think, or sometimes I'll put music on and that relaxes my mind and whatever, or sometimes I'll go outside and just look at nature.
Yeah. So meditation is one of mindfulness strategies.
Yes.
Believe it or not. Also, people pray. Some people, you know, spend time and just find that balance they in, or whatever, you know, relates to your life. So, in counseling, I would use relaxed muscle body. In that, I bring the clients to what's going on at this second. So, a lot of times when we're stressed out, we're like, going back to what happened, instead of focusing like what's going on now. Like you've made it out of the situation, or you can having the mindset of you can make it out. So one thing I would do would before the client I would tell the client, okay, look around the room. See, tell me 4 things you see. Basically dealing with the senses. Give me 3 things you can touch. Give me 2 things you can smell. Y'all might not know smell right now because it's not Christian here, but and then also give me 1 thing you can taste. So with that, you triggering the mind to focus on what's going on now. And when you can focus, guess what? You can plan things out and act accordingly without reacting. Just basic ways of finding balance and being proactive. Okay. Scenario. Who would love to be my reader?
Okay. James is on an academic, go ahead, read it.
You read it.
James is on an academic scholarship that requires him to maintain a certain grade point average. He's had a rough term and needs to do well in his finals to pull the grades that will keep him on scholarship. James is often tense regardless of exam schedules, but when he found out he would have 3 finals on the same day, he had a meltdown. First, he was angry that his schedule turned out this way, and he complained bitterly about it to anyone who would listen. Then he got into an argument with his roommate who was listening to music while James was trying to study. The night before his exams, James studied at the library all night. He skipped breakfast the next morning because he wanted to get to the classroom early. The teacher passed out the test and James began to read it. He felt absolute panic. All the typing on the page was running together. His vision was blurred and he couldn't remember anything. The longer he sat there, the worse it got. Finally, he decided to guess on the questions and get out of the room as fast as he could. He was so upset that he skipped his next 2 finals as well. He spent the rest of the day hiding out in his bed, wondering what he was going to do and how he was going to tell his mother he flunked out of school.
Wow. There's a lot going on, right?
Yes. Stress is
Yes.
different, yes.
Mr. James is stress, as they say. All right, so I'm gonna bring this slide back, but for our case study, you're going to individually devise a 2 to 3 sentence stress management plan to decrease his stress that he's going through. Take a pen and paper down and bring a paper
Act like Jay.
and I'm gonna give y'all about 5 minutes to create a plan for how he can deal with this situation. while you're developing your plan, also be ready to justify why you chose your responses. Alright, I see a few pencils are down. I'm gonna start with the person that I'm immediately touching.
You doing that one on purpose. Okay, my thing is that first you need to take a deep breath and calm down. You just need to relax a few moments and maybe things would be different. The second thing he should have done was possibly call his teachers or the school and see if he could reschedule some of his testing, and then that way maybe have one test that he's studying for instead of 2 or 3. Third thing is that if not all of the tests, then maybe get with one of the teachers and see if he could reschedule to a different day, which would allow him to be able to have time to focus on what he's really looking at and how he's doing it. So he was being proactive instead of being underactive, and trying to take his time and finding out which one he really needed to focus on at that time. And then the last thing is that, if he studied well and he got himself a good night's sleep, then he possibly would be able to see and be able to take his test and pass his test and keep his scholarship.
Okay, good job. Everybody give her a hand clap. Alright, next, Ms. Yoka.
He's in a bind, I mean. He just can't skip the final. I mean, I guess I'm looking for the present, like I can't go back and change the past, but, I agree with Ms. Bellins. The first thing I would do is talk to the instructors to see, like, is there a way that I could make up that situation, or James can make up that situation? And I'm gonna call my mom and just have that honest conversation with her. He had a meltdown. I don't think that that's something that would be new. He's in college, so she probably knows how stressed out that he gets. My plan would be, are you on academic probation? Are you losing your scholarship altogether? If you lose your scholarship, let's have a plan. Get a loan and go back. Don't stop because there's one setback. That setback didn't stop you. And I think if he has a mom that's supportive of him, then she would be that backbone for him to say, it's not the end. Maybe you lost your scholarship, but you didn't lose the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? So, you still have something else to do. So when you go back, so when he has that second chance, no matter if it's hard, if he has to work to go to school, if it takes him a little time, then I think he has to go in with an action plan.
Yeah.
With your roommate, y'all need to have some guidelines. I know that usually they merge personalities, or that's what they try to do nowadays, is you take those personality quizzes to see if you're with somebody that's like you. If that didn't happen, then they need to have those conversations at the beginning of the school year. And then he has to plan a little better. Like, the exam schedule is out when the semester is out, so why did you wait until the exam time to freak out? So it's like, check your exam schedule at the beginning of the semester, and if you see those conflicts, then meet with your professors at the beginning and say, hey, you know what? I messed up when I scheduled and I have 3 exams. Is there a way that you can do it like before it happens?
Yeah, good job. Give her a hand clap, y'all. All right, we're coming up short with time, but we still have time to knock out the rest of you guys. All right. Okay, good. Next. Okay.
A lot of mine is the same kind of what they're saying, but I would say he needed to pace himself better on his studying and preparing. He knew all this was coming, pace it and take it in smaller pieces. And with the roommate situation, he would have had to move himself to a different location. Maybe not, just stay there and get frustrated and aggravated, move to another location. I said he definitely needed to eat a good breakfast and say a prayer, cause he needed prayer. He needed prayer. He was definitely, he was stressed.
Alright, give her a hand clap, she did great. Miss White.
Alright, I said he would have needed to develop a type of plan based on his scheduled exams, because there are 3. He could have chosen which ones he needed to focus on first. That way he wouldn't be so overwhelmed with knowing he had to have 3 in one day.
Yeah.
And he could also, with the whole roommate thing, he could have removed himself and found somewhere where he could relax and have all of his materials and just focus better.
Yes.
So he wouldn't be distracted and feel angry about what he couldn't control, which was the 3 exams he had to take.
Okay, good job, give her a hand clap. And last but not least, Dr.
I
Miller.
don't have anything to add.
You say talk to his mom? Yeah, talk to somebody?
Yeah, the only thing that I mentioned was that, speaking with the roommate about, establishing guidelines, but even with that, knowing, even your roommate, respecting your roommates, after you have those guidelines, just maybe, finding some type of, meditation before going into the room, cause you still respect them for who they are.
Yeah.
And you have the guidelines, but I'm not just like, oh, I'm here, turn your music up, but just get my mind, or his mind ready, knowing what he's about to walk into.
Oh yeah, good job. Hand clap for ourselves. Y'all did great. So we're gonna go back over, I'm gonna go back to the original question I asked in the beginning. What is your analysis of stress management? So let's look at our answers that y'all previously gave, and I want you all to tell me if you would change it or if that's still what it is. So our first one was stress management focuses on our mental state. We have techniques and activities. Do you still agree with that? Yes. Thumbs up. Good job. All right. Stress management allows us to reflect and breathe. Okay. We have exercises such as yoga and whatever. It takes our mind away from things that's going on that may produce stress. Y'all agree? Yeah. We can recenter, sit, think, meditate in order to focus and get off that stress train. And finally, being proactive, having a proactive approach, being proactive instead of what? Reactive. Okay, good job. So that pretty much concludes our lesson. Y'all have been great, and I will see y'all next period.
All right.